Welcome to the Dibbly Dobblers Cricket Podcast. As always, I am your main host, Callum. And as always, I'm joined by my little friend, producer, director, dinner lady extraordinaire,
Say hello to my little friend.
Andrew.
You alright?
Not too bad, not too bad. How is it going this evening?
Yeah, I'm pretty tired, I have to say.
Well, you know, given that you're in some dodgy bar in Chinatown.
Yeah, I was in a karaoke bar in Chinatown in Manchester until 2 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday evening.
You can tell people that's what kind of bar it is if you want, Andrew. But I know otherwise. I've seen the pictures, mate. Didn't know that.
Singing some songs, it was good fun.
Didn't know that was legal, but you know.
What, me singing songs?
What you were really up to. What you were really up to, mate. I mean, you singing songs as well, that should be illegal. So yeah, I mean, we're recording off early. It's only 20 to 11.
I know.
We really need to sort ourselves out. Come on.
I know. We should have waited another half hour before we hit record. But we have done an interview this evening, so that's coming up on the episode. We spoke to Iain Stewart, first team head coach at Meigle, Persil, to everyone in the Scottish community.
Most folk are probably like, who's Iain Stewart?
Yeah, and then you go, Persil, it's him. Right, okay, cool, yeah. So we spoke to him. So we'll share that with you later in the episode. But for now, I suppose it's time to do our usual Team of the Week stuff, isn't it?
Team of the Week, it is. Yep.
Yeah. This hasn't gone out on social media because it's been a busy week for both of us. So.
Aye, and I think we only actually agreed it like last night or something, and by that point it wasn't really worth it.
Exactly.
So, and I only finished the graphic about an hour ago, so that also didn't help things. So you're going to bring it up on the screen?
I am.
Or we'll better go through it for our audio-only listeners.
Indeed.
So we have Graham Garden for a 75 again in a shock defeat against Aberdeenshire at Fort Hill.
Yeah. A shock defeat of Aberdeenshire.
That's
for Forfarshire twos. Yeah, that was definitely the upset of the week in the SPCU. I did not see Aberdeenshire dropping that one at all. And you definitely didn't.
I did not. They were my joker. I'm absolutely greeting. So then we had a Gordonians, a Mohit Kosla, I'm going to go with.
Yep.
78 off a mere 40 balls against Bonaccord in the North East T20 qualifier.
Yep.
Tian Brits, Strathmore, I feel like he's going to be a regular in this Team of the Week.
Indeed, and his first innings was another upset involving Forfarshire because I didn't see Strathmore defeating Forfarshire's ones in a T20. I didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't really see that coming. But, you know, never write off Tian Brits.
133 not out, and they absolutely cruised that chase.
Yep.
Having
a guy hitting 133 not out in a T20 kind of helps cruising chases.
Yeah, 133 not out of 180
something. No,
yeah.
I think they were chasing 182 from memory. So, yeah, heck of a knock. And then added 97 to score 230 runs in the week when he had another go against Dundee High School former pupils, who have been on the end of a few big innings. And in fact, there's one more to come.
Indeed.
Safi and Sharif got a... Is that correct? That's not right.
No, because it was 130 odd, was it not?
So yeah, I've not updated that graphic correctly. So, I'll have to do that post-record when we post it out. I can't remember what he got. Andrew, you've got our message up on the screen, so you just fix that. What an absolute amateur.
Yeah, you keep going through that.
At 5 got Sammy Ajaz of Strathmore as well, who was the other contributor in the victory against Forfarshire with a 40, but still an important knock in that game. And then a massive 143 not out against Dundee High School. Samuel Kukunitz, again, not the easiest surname to know for definite, so probably got it wrong. Maybe goes by Sam. I don't know. We just go off the official names on the Scores website. But he got a 68 of 47 balls against Stonywood Dice in the T20 qualifier, and then a 57 in the defeat of Perth at Castle Park, and also took 2 wickets for no runs off 1 over.
Yeah.
So
impressive stuff. Safi got 137 and he picked up 3 wickets as well. Don't know for how many runs. The scorecard on CS Live still has not been updated.
I think that was the problem. I think I went to go and try and see if it was updated and then just forgot to come back and change it. So well done to whoever scored 101 against Kinloch last week.
You want to go and change it now?
I can't really be bothered. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're just going to keep going. So then Bruce Pritchard, a kind of match-winning display all round, 36 not out. And 4 for 14 off 5.4 overs against Kinloch, which was quite an important game. And then Jack Mitchell of Huntly took 5 for 27 against Ducat. So it was really, he kind of set that victory up there. I think, did he take the wicket of Usman? I have a sneaking feeling he did, but...
right, yeah.
And then another Strathmore player. There's plenty. They've got 2 more. So Mohammed Akhtar, he took 3 for 33 off 4, which seems a little bit expensive in T20 to make Team of the Week. But I think the important thing, and actually this applies to all 3 of the remaining bowlers, and this kind of why they've made their way into the Team of the Week, is they all took 3 of the top 4 batsmen. Yeah. So really they put the opposition under the greatest amount of pressure, and that was kind of why these guys have all made their way into Team of the Week. Wasn't a lot of standout bowling figures in...
No, there wasn't this week. But yeah, 3 performances that really put the opposition under pressure early on, and set their team up to ultimately... to win their games.
Yeah, all of them were victories. So Imran Saeem took 3 for 22 against Dundee High School, and Alexander, might be Alex, don't know, maybe goes by Sandy, who knows, Cummings, for Aberdeenshire, taking the number 11 mantle from his teammate Luke Bain, who held on to it for a few weeks against Aberdeen Grammar School former pupils. Well, we can get that incorrect image off the screen now, it's all right. Try harder, sort of B- kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Room for improvement.
Right, Andrew. Well, I'll let you announce. I hope I've got this one right.
You have. The numbers look good to me. It's interesting, this one, actually, because I'd kind of sparked a little bit of social media debate after seeing the first score from this player last week.
Oh, aye.
So this week's player of the week is Tian Brits. 133 not out against Forfarshire, 97 against Dundee High School former pupils. He, since arriving, has just been a complete run machine.
In all formats.
In all formats. And immediately hit the ground running. I'm not sure that I've seen a batter come in and make such an immediate impact as an overseas player. It's been mighty impressive the way he's gone about his cricket since he came over. Yeah,
and I think I suppose that's one of the things actually that's kind of different about him than what we're maybe used to seeing from a lot of the overseas players, because actually quite often they're a batsman, and probably actually some of them in their own domestic cricket maybe aren't all-rounders, but kind of because they're coming over here, it's probably a drop down in standard for them. Their bowling then turns them into all-rounders, and we're kind of used to seeing, if they're not scoring runs, they're taking wickets and things like that. You've got Usman at Perth, you've got Raju at Meigle, guys that are offering a bit more. Falkland have got Harsher and things like that. So,
and obviously the one that was brought up on Twitter was Dean Forrester at Aberdeenshire, who's also been very impressive this year. As well.
who had a couple of bowling performances actually, which kind of were borderline for the Team of the Week consideration this week. But and I suppose the fact he offers with a ball. Yeah. But I think actually, I know you can't just discount and discredit what somebody's done, but he's had a very, very impressive Scottish Cup, Forrester. But maybe...
Yes, yeah.
I mean, Brits just kind of seems to score runs every time it goes out.
Yeah, he's been absolutely superb. Indeed.
Worthy winner.
Absolutely. Right. We're going to have a look at tables. Is that what we're going to do?
Tables, I hope they're right this week, because they were the ones I messed up last week.
We have a mention of the results. I guess for SPCU region sides in the Eastern Premier League, it was not a good weekend, unfortunately.
It was not. We had Arbroath slipping to a 6th defeat of the year. We had Forfarshire were quite firmly thumped.
So, Grange put up 320 odd. 7. Chris Greaves scored 100. There was a massive LBW shout on Greaves' first ball, and it looked like a very good shout, but it didn't go their way. Indeed. It was one of those where the camera angle on the YouTube stream is slightly off centre, so it is slightly hard to tell how good a shout it was. But it looked close. It looked very close.
So they were robbed.
If the finger has gone up there and Greaves has gone first ball,
different ball game.
It's a totally different game. But as it is, he scored a nice big 100 and saw Grange on the way.
Dylan Budge got a 90, I think, as well.
He did. The two of them, it was a big partnership that they put on after Forfarshire had started pretty well.
Yep.
The chase just never materialised.
Yep. So it's probably one of those where you look at that and go, their chances are maybe slipping back a bit. That's a few defeats. Probably the biggest game, though, for teams in this sort of that we're covering in this area was Stewart versus Falkland, and that was a game that you felt Falkland would be targeting to try and get a victory. Ultimately, if you can beat those around you, you're going to stay up. And
Falkland had Harsha in the game as well.
Yeah.
He arrived at the back end of last week. That is what Arbroath are still missing. Their overseas players are not with them.
Yes, the murmurs I had heard were clearly incorrect.
Indeed.
But Harsha, he hit a 50, got 51, I think. Sloan got a 47 or something. But that was kind of it. They weren't thumped, but they just weren't getting across the line. If we bring up the table, so it kind of leaves those two adrift. Not a team actually from our area, but Carlton are currently sitting 8th, and weren't so long ago representing the country in the European. Okay, it's a different format, but the shortest format of the game.
Yeah, they've not had a great start at all, have they? You would expect a bit more of Carlton than that league position. What you would say though is that it's fairly close. Like they're only one win behind 5th place, so it is pretty tightly packed in that sort of lower mid-table.
Yeah, but Arbroath are sort of getting to the point they need a win. They need a win soon, really.
They do.
Otherwise, I think we could well be seeing the return of Arbroath into the NEC unless something changes.
Indeed, and then that'll mean a double relegation for them because their twos can't stay there if the ones come down.
Well, very true. Although I'm sure they'll be targeting Falkland as, again, beat those around you. So
absolutely,
it'll be interesting to see how it goes. A bit of backwards movement for the teams in our area. Shall we look at the I've messed up that graphic as well. Tell you what, just don't. No. I can very quickly fix this graphic.
Right. Well, what I'll do is I'll talk through the results because I've got them up on my screen. So, Fruki, they made 340 for 6. That big innings from Safi and Sharif, and did Ian Stonebridge score
a 92. Yeah. Probably unlucky. It was definitely consideration for a team of the week with that one.
Yeah. And then they followed that up by bowling Stoney with Dice out for 121, so that was a convincing win. Big upset of the week came at Fort Hill. Forfarshire second 11, 217 for 8, missing their skipper as well. Richard Rennie had
I've heard that's why they won.
Tested positive for COVID, so he was missing. Something that was going about Forfarshire by the sounds of it, because that was why Michael Leask was missing from their ones as well.
Imagine close contacts getting COVID. Who'd have thought? There we go, the graphic's fixed now. So.
Cool. Aberdeenshire at 173 for 8. In reply, I believe Kenny Reid went first ball. and Deanne Forrester went pretty cheaply after trying to go aggressive.
Yeah, they got the 2 big wickets really, and that's the key in these games. And
Meigle against Gordonians. Gordonians set 175 for 9. Meigle chased it down with 8 wickets in hand and 10.5 overs left as well. So convincing win for them. Strathmore, as we know,
thumped.
Big innings again from Brits and Ijaz.
Well, to be fair, they also had an 81 not out from Sinclair.
Yeah, so 3 big innings.
So, I mean, they had 3 big innings.
Yeah, 385 for 3, played 94 all out. Then another one, which on the predictions side of things was quite painful for me. Perth Ducat bowled out for 113. Huntley 114 for 5.
I think what I very much enjoyed about this is basically what I predicted to happen happened.
Yeah,
I said it's a not very nice place to bat. I could see Usman failing, and that's what happened. So,
yeah. And then Arbroath against Kinloch. Kinloch were bowled out for 118. Arbroath, 119 for 4. Chased it down in 17.3
I was going to say, I just looked over at your screen there and saw that it hadn't dawned on me when I was looking at the results how quickly they chased it. Were they scared the rain was coming or something?
Yeah, there's no balls.
I know, I think that's possibly why it didn't dawn on me, because a lot of the teams in the NEC aren't listing the number of balls for it, although some of them in the EPL don't either. It just hadn't really registered to me how quickly they chased that.
Yeah, so they got their 4 wickets down. 2 wickets for last week's guest, Richard Bowman, in that game. Not enough for the team of the week yet, Richard, unfortunately.
No, come on, Richard, try harder.
Let's bring the table up. So Meigle are the only undefeated side left in the league. 5 wins from 5.
Yeah, I forgot to change the 2 1s was the problem. So
I see.
Because, normally in a table you don't have to change the positions, so I forgot to even look.
Yeah. That puts Aberdeenshire into second with that first defeat of the season. What else are you going to pick out from there? There was a lot of movement in the mid-table, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think Gordonians and Ducat were 3rd and 4th from memory. There's now... I still think we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have Meigle and Aberdeenshire are going to be our top 2. I'm somewhat struggling to see a way that turns right. But actually, you look at from 3rd to 10th, and I mean, it's all very, okay, Kinloch are maybe slightly further adrift, but you kind of look at that and go, this is really exciting. Like it's going to be really back and forth.
Yeah, it's a very tight league. You've got, as you say, you've got 8 sides within 1 win of each other.
Yeah, I mean, given that 3 teams could go down as well, because that is looming. That's kind of is what we're hearing, is that there's 3 teams likely to go down.
Yeah.
That not being 10th is going to be critical. Now, the likelihood is it's not going to be 3, because it's probably going to be Ducat's 2s are probably going to be in one of those qualification positions. So therefore, but you don't want to risk that.
Well, no, even if, because the top 2 from Division 1 are entitled to promotion.
Yeah.
So if one comes up...
So it could be 4.
No, it could be 4 if the top 2
so it's probably
are both eligible.
It's probably going to be 3, realistically.
I think realistically, though, you have to look at the EPL, and it looks like one of Falkland or Arbroath are going to come down. Falkland are looking fairly decent for one of the top 2 in Div 1 as well, for their second 11. So that will kind of...
obviously. But if you're not wanting to rely on what other people are doing and things like that. So, I think it's actually going to make it quite an exciting league right up into the death, because you're going to have this battle. I think realistically, Stonywood Dice and Dundee High can look forward to playing Division 1 cricket or grades cricket or what. I'm not sure what the situation with Stonywood's 2s are in terms of next season, what they would do. They just kind of look like cut adrift, and
yeah, they do.
I don't know if they actually. I think everyone plays each other once, so they'll play. I would imagine their game, because they only play each other once, will be the decider for the wooden spoon.
Yeah, so, probably. So watch that get rained out.
Apologies to Stonywood Dice, 2 players, and Dundee High School, but I think that's the harsh reality of it.
It is the way it's shaping up, unfortunately, for those 2 sides. But yeah, a very exciting league. You've got a title battle. We have had the first twist in that, with Aberdeenshire having dropped. Although maybe it's not the first twist, because actually we expected it to be a 3-way fight with Fruki as well, and they've dropped a couple of games, so that was maybe the first twist. But yeah, in the sort of what looks like a 2-horse race, Aberdeenshire have blinked first.
Yeah, I do also think Fruki, okay, they will probably have further spells without Safi, but they certainly appear that the whole team maybe just gets better with Safi in it. That sort of confidence list, knowing you have that guy in your team. Yeah,
and it's an understandable thing, isn't it? That all of a sudden, when he's not there, the pressure's on everyone else, and some guys maybe don't react to that pressure quite as well as they or their side would hope for them to.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's brought us to jumping over to our interview with Iain, Stewart, or Persil of Meigle.
Indeed. Meigle's first team head coach and occasional player for that side and for their 2s. Got him along to chat about this weekend's upcoming Village Cup game. So we will pass you over to that now. We are joined by Iain Stewart of Meigle, or Persil as everyone knows him. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm a little bit tired. I've just come off a cricket pitch, so I'm meant to be doing that less now. I'm a head coach, but still taking the odd game. So yeah, pretty ready for my bed, I think, in a little bit. But not looking forward to this. Thanks for having us on.
Oh no, quite welcome. Glad to have you on. And like the fetching curtains behind you as well, Persil. Very good.
Yeah, of course I chose it. Mrs. Persil, she chooses all these things, colour schemes, everything. Snuck in a couple of cricket photos over the years, but the kids are in them, so that's why. That's the only reason they're allowed up. There's one from 2014 when we won the league. There's Jeannie when she's little, and then that's in Charles Clark's garden. Actually, that's Dougie and Jeannie. Dougie's eating a packet of Milky Bar buttons. He's not too bothered about the fact we won the league. But Jeannie looks proud of her old man, because I think the first time she didn't know what was going on. So it's quite nice the second time. She actually had a clue what was happening. So it was nice.
Okay. I suppose that's a good thing with Meigle, good family club. So things.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the. We'll get into the bad things in a minute.
Absolutely. I mean, I left for a reason.
Let's not go there. There was. We loved having you, Cal. We loved having you. You're right. I mean, you've seen it there. Your kids are playing in the park, and it's great. And that's kind of like what the club now is kind of like the club I remember when I was a kid. I mean, it's apples and oranges, like late 1980s, early 90s to now. More things for people to do, but there's still that kind of, it's a great space, isn't it? Victory Park and rural cricket grounds like it, you get it in other places as well. You know, we don't have a monopoly on it, but just great. The kids can play and they make pals. Like I haven't lived in Meigle for years, so like I live in Carnoustie now, so when we go through, my 2, Jeannie and Dougie, they've got little pals that they just click in with when they're through. It's lovely. You just know they're going to be safe and sound in the park, play away, and play the football or cricket or in the swings. And they love that witch's hat in Meigle. Absolutely love that. Health and safety down a tree. But yeah. So yeah, it's a lovely aspect of it, and I think it's something that we've been keen to make sure. We've done a couple of things this year, just make sure we really connect with the community, because you'll see the new houses that haven't built next door. So we've leafleted the whole village with a little brochure with, like, here's the games, here's when our bake-off is, here's when the juniors are. Because folk don't know what they don't know. They're maybe not all following us on social media. They're maybe not reading the Blairgowrie Advertiser weekly report of our goings on. We've got that sign outside as well, which is good, lets folk know. So we're trying to do as much as we can to connect with the new folk that have come to the village, because, if they're going to raise a family there, we want them to know that like this is their park, they can come in. And it's not just, that I've heard it from someone before, actually, a really nice local guy, but it took him a few years to realise he could come in when a game was on. he lives. You can see the ground from his house, and he was just like, I didn't know you could go in, and he was a bit embarrassed by it. But I was like, well, he didn't know. He just thought it was a public park, and then when the cricket happened, he couldn't get in. So, it's great. It's a great vibe, and we just want to you just want everyone to be welcome and be really inclusive, don't you? So, long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean, I came along to the Scottish section final of the Village Cup, and we'll get on to the Village Cup shortly. But yeah, I came along to the game against Falkland with my 3 kids, and they had a great time playing at the park, and I got peace to watch the cricket. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it is key. It is key. And you've got the John Reed Cafe. You get a good flat white in Meigle. It's not just milk and 2 sugars. It's proper.
Oh, proper
cosmopolitan living, bohemian living. So yeah, there's loads to do. Loads to do. You can get a pint as well in the Kinloch Arms, of course. But
that's the one thing the clubhouse is missing, is a bar.
Well, do you know what? I have this chat with people, Carl. It's like my memories when I was a kid there are all pretty good. The beer tent would go up for Village Cup days, particularly, and six-a-sides and stuff like that when sixes was a bigger thing. Yeah. There was even like Strathboy Union sixes and stuff that were kind of semi-serious. And in a way, it's kind of good that there weren't people falling about drunk, I guess. Well, not that often. The beer tent, I'm sure I missed it because I was down the nets mucking about with my pals. But yeah, I think if we do any redevelopment to the pavilion, and there's a park committee that runs that, which Peter and I are on, you maybe see an argument for having one, a license a few times a year and have the ability to have stuff. But yeah, we've always had a good relationship with Kinloch Arms. It's changed hands over the years. And some folk from visiting teams, they quite like it. It's proper spit and sawdust, old-fashioned pub. Although it's had a lick of paint.
Once.
So I think once, 1983, I think it was. So it's a good relationship we have there. So I don't want to squander that. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It's probably something on the high days and holy days. You do probably want a beer and stuff like that.
Get a Kinloch Arms app that they can deliver them all. That's what you want. Ideal partnership.
We'll just hack into Spoon's app. Definitely. Yeah.
You can tell what I enjoy, the fact that there's no bar, and that's what disgruntles me.
We'll sort some out. We'll get a few tinnies in the spa next time you're there with Badalbin, and
that's it. Probably some white lightning or something.
That's probably a good spa bet, all that, isn't it? Mad Dog 2020.
Other drinks are available.
Yes. Many others are better for you. Although everything in moderation, right?
Exactly.
I don't know what moderation means. Is my problem, Persil. So.
It's dad problems, eh?
I know.
Kids start having something, you just snack away, don't you? It's terrible. Bad for you.
Yeah, so I guess we mentioned the Village Cup game there. I guess that was the main thing that we want to discuss with you. Meigle once again have won the Scottish section. Quite a tight, low-scoring game, that final. What did you make of that game?
I was probably surprised by the lowness of the scoring. Yeah, I mean, it played as an absolute road the day before in the 2020. It was just runs for fun, Batter's Paradise, and I still think it was a good day the next day. I mean, I've seen it when we've had these rare kind of heat spell, heat waves before, but it wasn't that long a one. Eventually, it's like great for batsmen, and then it just dies, and then boys bowling, jumping pies just take wickets, non-spinning spinners kind of thing. But I don't know if maybe the temperature was that great that it died a wee bit. I don't know if they were too chuffed with it, but I thought it played so great the day before. I just don't know how it went down the next day, downhill the next day for them. But to our chances, majority of our chances run out, that sort of thing. Got the Australian Scotsman out, which was handy. A good time. We just always had momentum. Like you were there. I know it's 40 overs. Almost felt like a 2020 in the fact that we wrestled the momentum and we kept it.
Yeah.
We obviously we knocked it off. Slight little Meigle / England test wobble, and then saw it home. Always my blood pressure always goes down when I see young Pete go to the crease. I just relax. So he went out and Marcus did his thing and saw us home. So yeah, it was great to get through. I just expected. I think we were up for, I don't know. Well, it's only 40 overs now, but we were up for a 200 and something V2. Like a nip and tuck and a long. Yeah, we just thought we were going to be out there for 40 overs, and if we got them in any less than that, that would be massive. And it wasn't to be. So I mean, it was a terrific side, wasn't it, that they had out? I mean, it was a good side. Couple of boys.
Yeah.
Other quality boys. I don't know who would miss out for them because they've got such a really good squad, as do we at the minute. So I think it's two teams with two good squads. So out of 13, 14, 15 lads, the 11 that they can put out, Meigle and Falkland first 11 at the minute, it's a really good game. It's a really, really good contest.
Yeah,
so yeah, I obviously enjoyed it because we won and had a lot of disappointments in it for a few years before we got that first win in however many years it was. 91 to 2019, what's that, 28 years or something. So it was a long while between wins, and there's a couple of reasons for that as well, because we weren't allowed to be in it for a few years because of the rules. But yeah, that was sweet to get the third one in a row. Obviously, COVID knackers that a little bit. 3 out of 4 years, but 3 in a row. So it was great. It was proud of the lads, proud of Charles, great young captain. He's still got room to grow in a couple of areas, and he knows that. But he marshals his troops pretty well, and has done terrific for us. So yeah, pretty pleased to get the win.
And this weekend, I think the weather's set pretty fair, so you should be good. But you're hosting Carlton Towers of the North Yorkshire South group, just to confuse you.
Yeah, the south of North Yorkshire. Yeah.
Yes.
And I've got an uncle and aunt down there, and it's not too far from them. They're in Hull, well, just outside Hull. So I don't know. It's quite south of North Yorkshire. I don't know if they mean like the North Riding or whatever, but I believe it's like kind of Goole direction.
Yes,
So
that's the
down.
address on Google certainly says Goole.
There's a Goole. There's a Goole, yeah. Man,
God, that's where my mother lives. Jesus. I sent her down there, just
Get as far south as you can. So they're coming a fair trek. We've done a wee bit of due diligence. With this day and age, everything's online, isn't it? So you find their frog box. So we've had a wee goosey ganders at some of their bowling. Keeper looked good. Some good spin options. We've got a lad, Tom Collins, who seems to be having the season of his life. He's going runs for fun, so he'll be a crucial wicket, I'm sure. Yeah, we've had a wee look online, all the stats there and things like that. But cricket's not played on paper. You've still got to go out and do it. So it's nice that you can get a little look at these guys. But ultimately, you've got to turn up in the day. And 2019, when we first won after all those years, we played a team, Cleater from Cumbria, and in the middle overs we kind of froze. It was like I don't know, we just didn't. It was just like that 4-ball, that buffet ball every now and then. The guys were just giving it away a bit, and lads were just a bit nervous, I think. So yeah, I think we've got more used to big occasions since then, and we did so well last year. So I think we'll go into it. As you say, you can only take so much from online stats and a bit of video here and there, but you go into it going, we remember last year what we did, what we can achieve. We've got some players, we've got some workmanlike players who do their job, and when they do their job, that's great. And then we've got some special players, like Zeddy can work some magic. Pete can just withstand all sorts of stuff, and some bowling options that can just Zeddy with the ball, these lads with the ball, just get you wickets. Charles can get you a wicket absolutely nowhere, So, I think we're going in. We're going in a positive mindset because you don't know enough about them to be wary. You don't know enough to feel really confident. It's just that experience of the win last year, knowing you can do it, and especially doing it on English soil. That was huge. One of the best days I've had in cricket. It makes some of the tough days that you get in cricket a bit better when you have days like that to reflect upon. So yeah, fingers crossed we can. Well, I know a lot of people are coming out for it. There's going to be a lot of people there, and we don't want to let them down. We want to give 100% and try and send the Meigle folk home happy and getting that last 16, because it felt pretty great doing it last year, and we'd love to do it again.
I suppose you're representing the whole of Scotland, not just little Meigle. It's
well, Well, that's it. I mean, you see the disappointment in the Falkland lads in the final, and goodness me, like I've lost a few Scottish Village Cup finals before I ever won one, I can tell you, and you know, it's got in like a couple of times really being on top and lost in a bowl out and things like that. That was 2016 at Freaky, and so one of the things that really hurts, I mean, it hurts to lose any cup final, you know, but there is the loss. It's like you lose two things: you lose the final, and you lose that chance to well, this year they're coming to us, but to play different opposition, better opposition, strong opposition, you know, from you know, England, it's the home of cricket. It's a cricket playing country, so you know they just live and breathe it, you know, in so many parts, and that's kind of the hurt when you lose it. You're like, we've not only gone out, we're missing this great occasion. So we're so lucky that we've got it, and that was etched on the Falkland guys' face, and I've been there, and Tricky boys have been there, and we've all been there. It hurts to miss out on that. So yeah, so it's so exciting for the boys. It's why you play the game. It's why you drive through sleet and snow to winter nets in February, because you've got this carrot dangling months later. It's, you know, why you pay your match fee and train and you know, put up with the bad days is for days like this. So yeah, let's hope we can just give it loudly and go really hard and try and make some more history, because yeah, that day last year, you know, certainly lived with me for a very long time.
Yeah. So what time start time on Sunday?
So 1 o'clock, Victory Park. I think there's usual sort of barbecue and all these sorts of things going on. So
So any listeners or viewers are at a loose end, then get themselves along to Meigle, and I'm sure you'll be in for a day of entertainment.
Be good, some good cricket. These guys, when they come up, they don't muck about. They'll be proper. Well, as I say, we've scouted them a bit. You know, there's some players in there, real players, and you know, we'll be up for it. And yeah, get along. I mean, we've still had really good crowds the last few years. I remember when we first got back in it, and people said, you know, will the crowds still be like they used to be? And they're maybe not quite as big, because, you know, the late 80s, early 90s, there was nothing on. There was 4 channels. Sky hadn't really taken off. There wasn't shops open and cinemas and 10-pin bowling and things to do on a Sunday afternoon and all this other stuff, and Netflix and blah blah blah. But you know, we've had great turnouts at a lot of these games, and the cars right round. So yeah, get along. Great way to spend your afternoon or some of your afternoon, and support Meigle, support Scotland. Hopefully, you know, get the Scots in the next round. That's what we want. We want to move forward. Yeah,
I mean, I counted 50 or 60 cars there at the Falkland game. It was very well attended, and hopefully it's the same sort of scenes on Sunday again. Be great to see.
Oh, I hope so.
Callum, I'm going to let you talk.
You're going to let me talk? Yeah. Well, I was trying not to talk because I do feel too much of it normally. I mean, I suppose you've talked about your success and how great that is. I suppose one of the things just to talk about the Village Cup as a whole in this country is you obviously played a new or a face I don't recognise in Bute County in the Village Cup. Would you recommend to other village? I think one of the problems seems to be for some teams that they've changed the rules, and if your town's got, it's class a market town, despite the fact it's probably sizably smaller than a lot of the English villages, you're not allowed to enter it. But would you encourage other clubs to get involved?
I would. It's a great competition, really special competition, and I think most teams play it the right way. The early rounds have kind of been, you know, a bigger team might get a weird team, but the bigger teams generally, and I talk about, you know, down in England, you know, people are pretty sensible. You know, it's in the spirit of the game. The Cricketer magazine that run it, you know, they promote that. You can get a bit of Neil in the final. Don't get me wrong, you've probably seen that, and I've seen that. But generally, the early rounds, some of the best cricket we played. Like we've been up to Balmoral, we played Crathie, Methlick. Trying to think some other places that we've been in recent years, but you know, the older boys will tell you great days they had. They played up in Dornoch and Largo. Maybe Fochabers, I think, were in it. Ross County, so they played in Strathpeffer, so they played in it. Kemney Contour, I think they played in it. Say Largo, Rossi played in it. Clondelvin. I've actually got a book here I got given by one of my mum's friends, whose father was a drumming, and this is a book of the first year of it in 1972. such the effects and picture. The final was Meigle Head delving up at Spitalfield, Rookie Falkland, Girl was in it, Rossi Friday, Walkervers. It was good amount of teams. A few in the west, some are maybe still on the go, some maybe not. Most of these teams I think are still on the go. So I think there's a bit of work to do. I don't know if the onus is on Meigle and Falkland and Rookie to rouse a few, because there's certainly some eligible teams that are not in Scotland that are not playing, and I think they are missing out, because I think like Doon pulled out this year because it just felt they were getting a wee bit older than that as a team, but they added loads to it. They'd always have 2 or 3 like proper canny old cricketers, a couple of young boys and a few triers, and they were great lads. And so we need to find a way that there's still more than, it's still worth winning, because Meigle, Rookie and Falkland are in it, 3 good teams. But yeah, we definitely need to work together a bit and get sides in it. And I don't know, one thought that I'd had is maybe you have say in 2022 you would run, or like the year before, you have a Scottish Village Shield, and that's for all the weir teams, and then the winner of that goes forward the next year and is the 4th team, and plays Rookie, Falkland or Meigle, another semi-final or eliminator is that, and then there's a final. Because I think it'd be sad if the weir teams stop buying in and think we're just going to go and thump them and aren't going to mix up the bowling a bit or the batting and just make it a really kind of jamboree of cricket. It should be a bit of missionary cricket early in the season. Come and play a good ground, or a bigger team come to you and give a few opportunities. It should be good. So I think if we got to the stage where it was the big 3, if you like, in village cricket in Scotland, and they just put us in with Northumberland or Cumbria, I think it'd be great away days. And but one of the reasons the away days are special is because you earn them.
Yeah.
If you just got told, well, your first round is like Banbury Castle. I don't know if you've been there, but never been there for cricket, but I've stopped there on the way down on holiday before. Amazing setting. What a place to play cricket. But I'd rather earn that than get given it. So I think there's probably something, maybe come the later in the end of the season, Meigle committee and like Sir Robbie Nellies at Falkland and the guys there and Paul Watson, we maybe need to be chatting Rookie and say how do we ensure the longevity, and speak to the cricketer, and probably the missing piece as well is, I don't think we ever speak to Cricket Scotland. They'll support you. You'll get a wee retweet when we're in the next round and everything like that, which is great. But sometimes it clashes with Scottish Cup, and I don't think it's beyond the wit of man to, the cricketers set their dates all across England and Wales, but maybe Scotland has different ones, so that Falkland and Rookie and Meigle can still put out a decent team in the, because we've had clashes before. And had to have 2 teams out in the same day.
Well, no, I had to roll back out for a year and travel up to Stoneywood Dice and open the bowl, and all of a sudden, despite the fact that was not really played.
That was 29. Yeah, that was the first one, and young Pete, he never won one until the other day. That was his first win.
Yeah.
Because in 2019, you're a great team, man. He went, well, we don't have a keeper in Dice. I'll go and do that. So he sold a win. What a clubman, eh? And then last year he tweaked his hammy, I think the day before, and couldn't play. So he was on the rum and coke instead, on the sidelines telling us how rubbish we were. But
he does that for behind the stumps anyway.
Yeah, he does that for behind the stumps, to be fair. That's true. He wasn't throwing his gloves down as he did it. He was just having another drink. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough. Like you've seen that getting 2 teams out in the same day doesn't do great for the sporting integrity, if that's not an overused phrase these days of both competitions. So I think there's a little bit of a jigsaw there in terms of, let's get more of these teams. And I don't think some teams know they're eligible, or they don't know how to enter. So how you enter is you have, someone has to have a subscription to the Cricketer magazine because they've run it.
Yeah.
They've got the day at Lords, it's them. So, if someone takes that instead of gets that and doesn't pay their subs that year or whatever, clubs just need to find a way to do that, get involved. And either we'll have the big open draw that we used to have, or as I say, you have a sort of Scottish Village Cricket Shield, and that could run through probably the better weather, because it is quite an early you win it by the first week in June.
Yeah,
we're celebrating, and most competitions haven't even got the second round. People are still trying to fight over dates for midweek, first round T20s and stuff, and we're like, we've got our 10th Village Cup in the cabinet. It's like, what? So yeah, there's maybe a bit of work there to do, because it is a great competition. I know it's just for villages, but for that market, it's brilliant. It's a great thing, and it needs nurture, it needs encouraged.
Yeah.
And we can see. I mean, Falkland got a quarter final. We all know Rookie won it. we saw last year. I mean, Falkland Main, we were down there, we were playing well down there. Up west, we're on, off, on, off. I mean, not beyond the wit of man to get deep in that competition. I'm not saying we'll see a Scottish winner again, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one of us three teams that tend to win it get very deep in it one year, because there's some good teams down there, but there's some good teams here. Well, you've got a dream, eh? You've got a dream.
Absolutely.
What's the point otherwise? I mean, Charles is a captain. It's just like if you're going on that field, you've got to go and win. Like he was at a win. He didn't play the Grange game, but he'd walk out on the Grange, and with their batting lineup and still be like, we've got to try and win this. He wouldn't go and try and damage limitate mode. He's that kind of skipper. So yeah, he'll have the boys, and he's a guy that leads by example. He's probably our best trainer, always has been. Takes catches in the dark, gets there. Well, he's working now, so he's not the first there. He used to be one of the first there. Now he's like the rest of us, coming from work, still trying to send an email as you walk into the get changed. But so reality's a bit there. But he sets great examples, and he'll be just saying, boys, right? Like let's get this one. He doesn't do the longest team speeches or team talks because he's a different kind of leader, leads in a different way, and does it really well. But he will be saying to those boys, like, look at these guys here. We've got to deliver for them, and don't let them down. Let's put on a show. And I've got just a lot of faith that they're going to put in a good performance. The result will be determined on Sunday. Looks like the weather's set fair, which is great. Nice to go on a weekend kind of quite confident you're getting cricket in Scotland. So hopefully we can come out on top. It'd be great. I'd love it.
Yeah,
excellent. Well, I think certainly from both of us, I don't know, might pop along on Sunday. You never know. Can maybe get some socials on the go again. But obviously wish you, if we're not along, we wish you all the best. And we'll hopefully hear from yourself or someone again once you've been victorious and carried the flag further on for the whole nation. No pressure.
No pressure. We're thriving it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think we're getting a warning from our Zoom, so we'll probably.
I saw that there.
It's because I'm cheap and don't pay for a pro membership to Zoom. We just do it on the cheap. Yeah.
Quite right. Yeah. But the cost of living crisis, can't be paying for Zoom.
Exactly.
Kids need to eat. Yeah, come on.
Exactly. I mean, I put 20 quid of fuel in the car earlier, and my light's still on. So I mean,
it's frightening. Absolutely frightening.
Can well believe it. Anyway, yes. As we say, all the best in the next round and for the rest of the season ahead. Very much appreciate you taking your time to speak to us. And hopefully we'll chat to you again soon.
Great, Andrew. Thank you. Cheers, Callum. Cheers, guys.
Cheers again for joining us, Persil. And again, all the best of luck to Meigle in the Village Cup. Hope they don't get knocked out. Be a bit village, that.
Oh dear. Wow.
Just like my jokes.
Indeed, they are very village.
Very village.
They're like playing in whites and wearing coloured pants. That's how bad your jokes are.
I know. Although, speaking of things that are absolutely village, Andrew, let's get on to the predictions, mate.
Right, so we're going to speak about last week's predictions. And you're having a go at me about last week's predictions.
Oh no, I mean you're just predictions in general. I had a poor week. You had a good week for you.
No, I had a standard week for me. I usually get one wrong. I got two wrong.
Three wrong. That's okay.
Oh right, yeah, I had a bad week.
It's okay. You just had the good sense of having a better joker than me.
I did.
I should have gone with my other thought on being a joker. Anyway, so yes, we had Stonywood Dice versus Fruki. Comfortable win for Fruki. Forfarshire, we've talked about upset victory over Aberdeenshire, so we're on 1 point each. Meigle versus Gordonians. Andrew, well done. You played the joker. I lost my joker, so that's the only reason scores are tied. Strathmore, Dundee High, we both got wonderful backed Huntley. And Arbroath versus Kinloch, we both got that one wrong.
We did, yeah.
Thoroughly wrong, actually, on that one. But,
four each this week, and I'll go find the scores graphic. And
what a graphic that one is.
The gap remains 7 points. You're 34, I'm on 27, so
keep up.
Some catching up to do.
I mean, on my bad week, you didn't take advantage of it, so...
I had an even worse one.
Probably doesn't help that most of our predictions are usually the same.
It does.
And
it doesn't, yeah.
But, so...
Yeah, and you keep getting ones right.
That's just because I'm better at this than you.
Anyway, this week's predictions. Perth Ducat against Stonywood Dice. We've both gone for Ducat. Huntley against Forfarshire is the one that we've gone differently. You're sticking with Huntley because they served you out last week.
I'm gonna back them. I'm gonna back them.
Same theory as last week. Difficult place to
back.
back.
And particularly the fact that Richard Rennie is probably gonna come back into the team. So you know. Hi Richard, love you.
I'm going to signpost him to this point of the podcast. I don't know if he listens at all, but
if he doesn't, then definitely going to give him more abuse.
There's certainly others within his team do.
Good.
I know that much. I've gone for Forfarshire riding high, following their victory against Aberdeenshire. I think they'll carry that form into this weekend. Strathmore we've both gone Strathmore.
Yeah, Tian Brits is going to. Strathmore are going to win that game. Yep.
To be fair, as we've just said, they had 3 big performers last weekend. So, I think they'll win that one. Dundee High School against Kinloch. Both gone for Kinloch. We've already discussed Dundee High. Gordonians Fruki. This one felt like a tougher one, but you then remember that
if this was in round 5, this was a tougher one.
Yeah.
Now it's not.
Yes. I think with Safi, Fruki win this fairly comfortable. I think to beat Fruki with him there, you've got to get him cheap.
And I think the other thing as well is if you've got Safi opening up, Gordonians have got guys at the top of the order who are capable, even capable of beating a Fruki, but the difficulty is when you've got a Scotland internationalist running in. Yeah,
I mean, they even saw it last week that against Meigle, they were 2 down in the first over. Yeah, and the top 3 sides have that quality opening up.
Yeah, and I think that's it. So many of the sort of not quite that top echelon teams, they do rely on the top order. So if you've got an opening burst.
And then Aberdeenshire against Meigle, the big one. So Aberdeenshire have a chance to get back level with Meigle in terms of their record, but we've both gone for a Meigle victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. If Aberdeenshire win this, I'll not be shocked at all. I mean, in Kenny Reid and Dean Forrest, they've got 2 of the most capable fast-scoring batsmen. They're right up there in the league. Like the Rashid brothers, they've had success and things, but it's a good batting track. It is up at Mannifield. Things, the stars align and all that. I mean, Aberdeenshire have the capability to beat Meigle.
Yeah.
But, I do ultimately think it's hard to ignore Meigle's current form. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Joker time. Who are you playing for your Joker?
I am going to, mentioned about a former club being at Meigle. I'm going to go with another former club with Perth Ducat. I just don't see Stonywood Dice winning any games, particularly this season, and the fact that Ducat are at home and all these kind of things, I think they are, to me, the obvious choice in that pack.
Yeah, and then I've gone for similar logic in that I don't see Dundee High School winning against anyone other than potentially Stonywood Dice. So I've gone for Kinloch as my Joker.
I think you just wanted to see a unicorn wearing a Joker's hat.
I mean, it looks magnificent, though,
it's absolutely wonderful.
Look at it. We should have put it the other way around and put it on the horn. Just hanging from the end of the horn. Yeah. That's
so really, it's all on the Huntley game. On variation again.
It is.
And I'm pretty sure every time we've disagreed on Huntley,
you've won.
Huntley have won for me.
Yeah,
so I mean, not that it's a good omen for me or anything, but it's wonderful news.
Oh, you can see the pain on me as you say that. Anyway, it is what it is. I think that kind of brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Dibbly Dobblers Cricket Podcast.
Absolutely. So as always, people can find us on Twitter at DibDobPod.
Yep.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah, so
share
like
the
us on
video.
Twitter, and then when you see the YouTube link, please click through to it, and please remember to hit subscribe. We want those subscriber
The bell.
numbers.
Is that what it is? The bell?
Subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that too.
Yeah.
All that. Too.
Sahan.
And
Dunno.
leave reviews, and tell your friends about it. Word of mouth. That's the best way for us to grow.
Get it round your clubs. Everyone wants to be part of the Dibbly Dobblers team of the week.
Yeah.
And who knows, next week, it might be you.
That just wow. Goodbye, everyone.